Monster Energy goes after indie dev for using the word monster. This isn't the first time the beverage brand is going after a dev for using the word. Now imagine if this was real life, right? And you could essentially just copyright a word because it's your brand name, which is very unoriginal, by the way, monster. We know monsters from tales going back as far as time. And Monster Energy are just going to drag people through courts with their ridiculous sums of money for using just a normal word. Now, Monster Energy, I personally don't drink because I just drink coffee like a normal person. But Monster is a company that very much confuses me, as they're very much targeted, or at least marketed towards, like, you know, younger people culture, gamer culture, things like that. It's like the cool, the hip, the slightly edgy energy drink, right? But then they do things that just confuse me because they're not a platform like, for instance, Twitch, who will ban you for doing some certain things that they don't like. They don't rely on advertiser revenue. They just rely on people drinking Monster. And over time, they've done things where I've just been scratching my head like, why is this a thing that you care about? Such as when Summit1G, a very popular streamer on Twitch, he's been going for a real long time, one of my favorite streamers, he was playing Valorant, and by the way, he lives in Colorado, which is a state where you can legally buy and consume cannabis, marijuana, the devil's lettuce, whatever we're calling it. And he was on stream, and he tried to do the right thing, right? You can see he's looking, he's checking, have I turned off my camera, grabs his bong, because he's about to take a big old rip, and then he realizes he didn't turn off his camera, so then he does, and continues to probably, sad face palm, and then probably take a big old fat rip. And as you can see in the background, he's got a Monster Energy fridge. A Monster immediately pulled his sponsorship. Now I'm just going to say, I would much rather somebody smoke weed than drink Monster Energy. I know they might come after me for this one, but I'm just going to say Monster Energy is probably going to have a higher chance of doing something to you than weed is. It might be a hot take, but that is just my opinion. And of course, here, as you can see, Summit loses Monster Energy sponsorship following bong incident. It was like the very next stream, the fridge was just gone. And it's hilarious because immediately, as soon as this happened, G Fuel hit him up and was like, you want to get sponsored by G Fuel? Essentially just jumping in the warm bed that Monster had just left. The space was already there for a G Fuel fridge. I find that hilarious. And while personally I don't drink G Fuel or any of that stuff, because again, I just drink coffee, that makes G Fuel look much cooler. And also, not trying to sue companies for using the word fucking monster makes them look even better. Monster Energy markets itself as a drink for gamers. You've surely noticed it as a sponsor for various events and even placed within some games, most notably Death Stranding. However, despite its outwardly image of a brand for gamers, Monster Energy doesn't really seem to like video game developers. The energy drink is once again going after a developer for using the word monster in its game title. Jesus Christ. The last time something like this happened was in 2020 when the beverage brand clashed with Ubisoft over the name Gods and Monsters, the original name for Immortals Phoenix Rising. So they actually got them to change the name. This is unreal. At the time, Monster claimed that the trademark was too similar and would confuse users. Are you out your fucking... Oh yeah. When I'm going to buy a game on Steam, I'm thinking, is that Monster Energy beverage? No, mate, because it's a fucking video game. Or similarly, I'm not really thirsty and going, why can't I drink the Steam? Why can't I have this in my face? Why can't I ingest this? No, nobody's confusing that. You're a fucking liar. Of course, we wouldn't want someone to eat a game disc or pour a drink into their console out of confusion. You've just made the same point as me, god damn it. This time, Monster Energy has decided to flex its muscle at indie developer Glowstick Entertainment. Oh no. At least when you're going after Ubisoft, I can sit there and be like, let them fight, because Ubisoft is still on this NFT binge. So maybe I can be like, it's okay. I'm joking a little bit there. But when you're going after indie developers, now what's the name of this game? Which has made a game called Dark Deception, Monsters and Mortals. Yeah, we're getting confused again, guys. I can definitely see their point. I too would get confused. I'd see Dark Deception, Monsters and Mortals and be like, is that Monster Energy drink on my screen right now? According to founder and CEO Vincent Livings, the overreaching settlement terms sent to Glowstick state that in exchange for being allowed to use the current name, the studio will have to refrain from naming any other game with a variation of the word monster. God, these people are fucking pathetic. And it always makes me laugh because Monster could be a brand, one of those that's like beloved for just being a little bit like, hipster, a little bit meme-y, a little bit edgy and things like that. And just being down. I'm not going to do down with the kids, but you know what I mean? being something that people look upon favorably as they're okay. They're a corporation, but they're okay. But even some of the worst companies you know about don't do shit like this. It's actually insane. Livings has decided to fight the case rather than give in to Monster Energy's demands. Good. Although I obviously don't wish legal battles on anybody, because anybody who's been involved in a legal battle knows they're so incredibly expensive and stressful, like so ridiculously stressful, and cost so much money that an indie dev shouldn't have to be dealing with this. This is just pathetic. And I sincerely hope people see this and just boycott drinking this dog shit anyways, because you shouldn't be supporting a company that repeatedly does this as a pattern of behavior. Like, for instance, when Nintendo started going after people randomly for, you know, streaming games and making YouTube videos, like DMCA in them and stuff like that, people made it pretty clear. You're in the wrong here. Stop doing this. Otherwise, you know, there's going to be consequences. People need to do the same thing with corporations like Monster. It's an energy drink. Just drink a different fucking one. They're all the same anyways. Instead of giving more money to the war chest of Monster just bullying small companies, we'll even defend Ubisoft on this one, because that is fucking insane that they're doing this. Additionally, he also tweeted saying that he will share everything he receives from Monster's lawyers so that other devs who get harassed by them will know their tactics. This guy's a fucking G. This is the real top G. It also forces us to agree to never use a green and white logo on a black background for any game we ever make, so they own the colours green and white too, apparently, Livings tweeted, revealing more of the brand's demands. Any logo that has a Monster-style font will be deemed confusingly similar to Monster Energy's logo. It demands that we never use one for any future games. This means they could demand that we change Dark Deception's logo as well. It can be applied broadly. By agreeing to these terms, Dark Deception Monsters Immortals could never have a sequel with the word monster in it. Now, this is the worst thing, because nobody's getting confused about this. They're having like a Monster-style logo with green and white on a black background with the name Monster. You can see that, like, as an overall, looking at it as a package, that would be slightly more reasonable from their perspective, but obviously still not, because it's not the same thing. Especially considering how many words are in this and the fact that they're not competing products in any kind of way. This is just an example of a pure overreach. So let's have a look at his Twitter. Oh man, it's not even getting a whole bunch of likes or retweets or anything like that. Monster Energy lawyers are coming after us right now because Monsters Mortals has the word monsters in it. They claim that our game is confusingly similar to their energy drink. Oh my god. So you can't even use the term monster, monstrous, or monstrosity in connection with any goods or services. Applicants shall not use or seek to register any trademark or mark that includes the words beast or unleash, or any variants thereof, either alone or in combination with each other or any other words in connection with any goods or services. So what Monster's saying is, we just own all the words relating to beasts, monsters, or anything like that, and if you try and use them, you would be in breach if you, of course, agree to these terms. And I presume these terms are essentially sent saying, if you don't do these things and agree to all this stuff, we're going to sue you. Because that's usually how this works. You can't draw a claw or claw-like symbol, claw-like markings, any design confusingly similar to MEC's claw icon. Applicants shall always use the term monster in combination with the terms Dark Deception and Mortals. So basically they're saying you can't advertise your game as just being called Monster, because again, maybe people are going to get confused and think it's an energy drink. Jesus Christ. Applicants shall not display the trademark in any manner whereby Monster is emphasized more or displayed more prominently than the terms Dark Deception and Mortals, including in terms of size, font, and or color. So if you emphasize the word monster too much amidst all these other words, you're in breach. So I would like to see this whole thing get posted and see what the consequences are of if you don't sign this. Is it the case of you don't sign this and we're going to take you to court? Because that's, again, usually how this works. Usually it's a letter of demand and then you'll go back and forth, and then if you don't agree to the terms, then we'll go to court over this. Either way, absolutely fuck this company. Absolutely fuck Monster Energy. Again, this is not the first time they've done it, and it's definitely not going to be the last. And you could understand if this was an energy drink, and the energy drink was called, like, Unleash the Monster, or something like that. You could absolutely see why they'd have a point. But a video game with so many additional words, it's just so fucking dumb. But this is the world we live in, I guess. Yeah, there we go. Thanks for watching as always, guys. See you next time. Peace out.